Manu, what the fuck is good, bro?
Chillin'.
For the people that don't know who you are, who the hell are you? I know you're a music producer, piano teacher, a jazz enthusiast, a music theory sage, a live performer, and an army man. Am I missing anything?
Oh, just a man of the people, I suppose.
A man of the people. No, I'm excited for this too, because it's nice to talk to someone else that knows what the fuck I'm talking
Yeah,
about for music.
Absolutely.
Everyone always looks at me like they don't know the first thing I
Yeah,
said.
dude. Yeah,
But
man.
no, it's nice.
What have you
It's
been
nice.
up to?
I have been working my ass off. I've been biking my ass off. I've
Hell
been
yeah.
drinking a lot of Rolling Rock, playing a lot of Quiplash,
Quiplash is tight.
and I've been watching Family Guy recently too. I don't know why.
Really? Taking a break from The Office.
Dude, I can't fall asleep without having The Office on. So
True.
Family Guy has become my actually pay attention to it.
Yeah.
Even on the spin bike too, I'll just throw that shit on. It's nice.
I'm not a huge Family Guy guy like I used to be, but I honestly just think it's like mindless humor anymore.
Yep. Maybe that's why I like it right now. Because mindless humor, like,
Mm-hmm.
it's good for de-stressing.
Yeah, it kind of hits like, I don't know, wholesome vibes, I guess. I don't know, just laughing at stupid shit.
Yeah. So wait, tell me what you do in the Army and tell everyone else.
So basically I'm in the Army National Guard, which is once a month commitment.
Sounds like they're coming for you right now.
Yeah, basically I live like on the highway, so you can hear like
Nice.
majority of the traffic flow in the city. But anywho, yeah, I'm in the National Guard. I have been for like 6 years as of like March 25th of this year. And yeah, so basically I play music in the Army as a keyboardist, and the Army band has like
That's sick as
a
fuck.
bunch of little bands within it, so it's not like one cohesive thing. There's just like multiple different ensembles for different occasions and functions and whatnot. And so like I play in the pop combo band. So we play like a lot of basic shit, but like it gets the crowd moving. So
What type of events are those meant for?
we do like this Penn State tailgate thing every year. That's like a civilian thing. It's not like a military function. We do like dining outs. We were supposed to go on tour this in March around like high schools and stuff to do like recruitment. We were gonna do like
damn.
clinics and stuff like that, but I mean it got rescheduled, I guess, because of the corona shit.
Yeah, like everything else. Do they have squads that they send abroad to like troops that are elsewhere?
Like what do you mean?
Like, are there any specialty bands that go on tour like internationally? All the different Army bases around the world or
yeah.
something?
Yeah, actually, last summer I was at the Army School of Music, right? And the keyboard instructor, dude, he was a beast. Like he had just basically he'd served in like Alaska, and he was getting ready to leave Virginia Beach as the instructor to take on like another keyboard position, but he was gonna be in like Belgium with this band called the Shafe Band, and they're like hella like exclusive. They play at like really super high class events with like high ranking officials, and you got to be
What type
like
of music?
jazz, big band, jazz, bebop,
Ooh.
like full on, and you got to be like crazy acclaimed, and it's wild. But
Huh. Yeah, what's it like being in the Army too? I remember snapping you at like 11 p.m. and you'd be like, I have to get up in 4 hours or something.
yeah, those days suck, dude. I mean, being in the Army,
Yeah, what's it like though? Yeah.
it's a ride for sure. I mean,
What do you mean?
Like for 4 years, so I've been in for 6 years. For 4 years, I was in the infantry, which is like frontline fighting type shit. Dealing with uneducated people in my unit, and they were like racist, and so like
Oh my god.
that was just like in itself like a ride. Dealing with I don't know, just unprofessionalism and just snide remarks. I just didn't fit in that world, and then I joined the band, which was like a totally different world in the Army, and like presented me with a lot of enlightenment because I resented the Army before, and I still kind of do resent the military, like the whole, you know,
All 5 branches.
everything like about it is just like, yeah, not for me, but like if I can do music in it and like, I don't know, it's helped me finesse a lot of shit, I feel like, and get my life together in ways, but still fuck the Army.
What made you choose the infantry?
I didn't. My recruiter like kind of like lied to me, I feel like, because he was recruiting for the infantry unit, and when I joined I was like a junior in high school, right? So like I didn't have a car, and I did want to join the band, but he made the point where like the band, like I was obviously living at home in Bradford, the band's drill would have been like 4 hours away every month, and my parents weren't like willing to drive me, which is stupid, but he was just like, yeah, like it's gonna be hard to go to drill and shit, and I just wish my parents were like, fuck it, like we'll make it work. But yeah, he basically was just like, yeah, you can't join the band, you have to join the infantry, and I was like, well, that's bullshit, but whatever. And I joined like the Army without really knowing what the fuck like I was really getting into. It was wild.
And you couldn't leave or anything, right?
Not like immediately, like it took me about 2 years. I guess you have to stick with the MOS, or like that's like the job. So like I chose infantry when I went to enlist, and I guess you have to stick with that initial one for 2 years, which is what I did. Like 2.5 years.
Did you do ROTC too?
No, I didn't do ROTC. That's the one thing. People are like, you do ROTC, and they're like, wait, you're National Guard? Like, wait, does that mean like active duty? Like, nobody really knows what the fuck like the terms mean, but like I'll lay it out simple. So ROTC is like purely college based. It's affiliated with a university. So like,
right.
So like you can be in ROTC and not be in the Army at all. Like, and so that's basically like you're going to be in the Army after college, but they're just like, you're basically on a contract like that you will serve for however long after you graduate college. And like when you graduate college, you'll be like an officer. Like ROTC is like you're going to be an officer / you're going to go to school, and like that's how you're going to do your Army career. Well, like National Guard is like part-time basically. Like what I do. I tried.
So you're not technically active duty?
No, yeah, active duty is 24/7, like 9 to 5 every day. You're doing Army shit like Monday through Friday. Like that's your full-time job. Wherever.
And do you have to like live on a base, or?
You don't have to live on a base. You can live like, wherever you want. I guess I think you have to be like a certain, probably distance from the base, but.
Didn't you say this summer some drunk guy like drove through the?
Yeah, dude, that
the
shit
entrance
was wild.
Yeah, what happened with that?
I guess this was in Virginia Beach on the Navy base, and there's like this gas station as soon as you enter, like as soon as you cross the gate, to get on base. And I guess this like drunk dude fled from the cops and then like ran into one of the gas pumps or whatever, and then got out of his car and like started fleeing on foot, and the cops like shot him dead.
Damn, just right outside of the gate?
Like right in the parking lot of that gas station.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Pretty wild.
I remember we only talked about that shortly, because I was like, yeah, last night was crazy. There was something that happened down in Southside.
Yeah.
But I remember you
like,
telling me there was a guy that was... Wait, it might have been... There was a person that was stabbed down here, like 2 blocks away from me, like 13 times.
Jesus.
In like the middle of the night. That must have been it, because that was around the same time.
That is wild.
I was picturing a guy that was in a car chase that turned into your gate that was like, oh, look, all this open space, not knowing it was like an armor facility. And then the guards were just like, AKs. Brrr.
Yeah. Dude, yeah, the dude was like young too. He was like 24.
Also, that keyboard that you had this summer that was technically like Army gear, that shit was like a tank.
Which one?
That big keyboard that you brought to that party show that we did in the backyard.
Oh yeah, I used it for Travis.
It's so heavy. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
one of the
that's
many
heavy
perks of
duty.
being in like the band too. I get to like use that shit.
Is all of their shit built like a fucking tank?
No, they just have good gear, man. Like the
Yeah,
bands
that's what's
get
up.
hooked up. I wish I had most army bands have Nords. Like that's like the standard keyboard. But like we got like, well, remember you came to Club Cafe and I had two of those flagships.
Oh, that was the
Those
same one?
those are both army band keyboards.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. The motif.
Speaking of, you've been teaching lessons on Zoom recently then, huh?
I mean, yeah, slightly through Guitar Center, but like I would love to do it more on a private basis. I have
Yeah, I mean, go on Craigslist or something like that.
yeah, that's a good idea. You have to like pay for ads. Stupid.
Hmm.
It's only $5,
What are the
but
types
it's
of-
still like stupid.
What are the types of people, like age group, that you've been teaching?
Bro, like children. Like
Like how old?
it's so frustrating. Like I teach like I said the youngest student I have is like 7,
Hmm.
and I teach like up to like 14. I did teach like a father-son duo for like a month.
That's kind of interesting.
Son was like 5. Dad was pretty
Damn.
cool. He was maybe like 35.
Hmm. Yeah, I taught guitar before, and they were probably like 10 maybe, and they
Mhm.
were using acoustic guitars, which I don't know why people always say you should start out on acoustic because your fingers will get stronger, and then when you move to electric, you'll be a god.
Yeah.
That's so untrue, because if you start on an acoustic, you'll probably quit because it really hurts.
Mhm.
Like playing the regular guitar actually hurts, but the
Yeah.
acoustic guitar, they couldn't see over it to see what they were like pressing down on, and really hurts your fingers, like shreds them.
Mhm.
Still to this day, if I sit down and play an acoustic guitar for like 30 minutes straight, my fingers will really hurt.
Yeah.
So they all quit after a year, saying like, I need to get an electric guitar. But then at that point, I think I was like more serious with a band.
Yeah.
So then doing it a little bit here and there, but I mean,
Dude,
I took guitar lessons from age 9 to like probably 14. So I feel like that's around the same age that's normally taking lessons.
right.
It is frustrating though. I feel you.
Does would you say like acoustic and electric go hand in hand? Like if you can play one, you should be able to play the other?
Oh yeah. That's another common misconception. People always ask, "Do you play electric or do you play acoustic or both?" They really don't know what they're asking. That's kind of I feel like what they really mean is, do you play or do you sing and do you rap or do you do both? Kind of as if it's completely different things.
Yeah.
But I mean, the styles that you would play on an acoustic sometimes would be different. You
Right.
could definitely do lead on acoustic and rhythm on electric, but I mean, playing it is the exact same. You could finger pick on both. The notes are all the same.
Right.
String gauge is different, but that's it. Same amount of frets. It's definitely harder though. Acoustic's definitely harder, just because
Right.
it's a lot more challenging
the-
physically.
The strings are a lot heavier.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, dude. This month I didn't have drill for the army.
Oh, is that postponed too?
I suppose so. Like I didn't have it in April. So I've just been smoking weed irresponsibly. Just no.
Do they test?
I mean, not now.
They had to at first though.
Only like at drill, you know, unless they have like probable cause of somebody using,
Right.
and they'd like call
That's
you
the
in.
dumbest shit too.
Yeah.
Like that is considered one of the few essential items right now. Yet people are also like in jail for it. The army's testing people for it. Even like regular corporate jobs are testing for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, right? That's just a different state
yeah.
within the United States.
Dude, once I've definitely had some scares, piss testing in the army. Well, I've really only ever had one really bad one where, I was just being completely reckless. This was like October of 2018, and I like smoked. I was like smoking up until the night before drill, and I was just like, "Oh, I'll be fine. Like I'll be fine. They don't test me. Like I'm," because I hadn't. my whole thing was like I hadn't gone to the Army School of Music, which meant like I wasn't like a qualified musician yet. You know, it wasn't on my record that I was a musician. I was still like in the infantry, so I had this like idea in my head that since I wasn't like qualified for the job, that I wouldn't get tested, right?
Hmm.
But like I was still on their books and shit. Like I was still getting paid, and I was like still like part of the unit and shit. So like I could have
Right.
definitely gotten tested, but for like the past like it was like a year and a half I'd been in the band, and I hadn't gotten tested. So I was just like, oh, I'm fine. Like I'm fine. And then one day I get tested, and I like had just smoked, and I was like, dude, I'm fucked. And they have
You show up high.
no,
You're like, this cup.
not that deep, but I definitely had smoked like the night before, and
Damn.
they have this policy like if you come in and like let somebody know if you let somebody know before like the first formation of the day that you like smoked, and that in case like it's like an integrity thing, in case your name does get called, like you can't take it because you're dirty, then you'll be
Right.
fine. But like I waited until after, right? And I told my squad leader, and she was like, well, honestly, like I think you'll just be fine. Just don't like smoke in between this drill and next drill, because you're definitely gonna get tested next time.
Again, yeah.
And that's exactly
Makes
what
sense.
happened. And like I didn't smoke for a while, and I got tested, probably was clean, and nobody said a word about it. And I was just like,
Well, that's
wow, I'm never like really chancing that again.
So I lived in Sutherland freshman year, and there was two sides: the honor students and the
Yeah.
athletes. I was neither. I just happened to be there with 5 other people in a 6-person suite that were none of the above. But it was super cool. I had a friend who he was a wrestler, and they give you, I think it's 3 days notice. Not like Pitt. They kind of they're like a lot more lenient. But NCAA itself, they tell you 3 days before,
Mm-hmm.
and then you take it. So in 3 days, after this kid was smoking every single day, he went to hot yoga. He worked out with like a trash bag on, did all this crazy shit, and just sweated out. He didn't take any like drugs that would change it or whatever, and he passed within 3 days. That's how hard this kid worked out all the time.
Oh my god,
I know, right?
3
Fucking
days.
crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah. But wait, so going back to guitars and pianos, the thing that always interested me, because I actually started on piano. I had one in my house that kind of, the keys would light up and you could program like these different songs in
Mhm.
where like it would play, I don't know, like Jingle Bells or something. It had a mode where they would light up. You had to press one at a time to like make the song go forward. Then the
Yeah.
next one was whole chords to make the song go forward. Then the third one was kind of like karaoke, but it would light up at the same speed. But
Shit.
then I started guitar 5 or 6 years later, probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I really learned what music theory was. So even when I go to play the piano, I kind of have to visualize the shapes of a guitar.
Mm-hmm.
You know? You know
That's
how to play
interesting.
bass, right?
What's that?
You know how to play bass, right?
I mean, like, barely.
Well, you you learned the bass lines on Mustard Gas, right?
Yeah, I did. Like, I taught myself that much. Like, I mean, I guess I could like play bass by ear. Sure.
Yeah, so you know enough about what the shapes kind of are on there. Do you approach the bass with like thinking of a piano in your head?
No, I have no formal training in bass whatsoever. I approach bass solely on ear. And
Well, like if someone
convenience of
says
finger placement.
if someone says what chords are, or I'm sorry, what notes are in an A major chord,
Mm-hmm.
what would you think of in your head? Would you go A, and then would you go up a certain amount of steps? Would you go, okay, the third of this must be that, and you just memorized it? Like I physically picture playing an A chord and knowing which one is the fifth, which one's the third, which one's the one.
Yeah, A chord. I just think 1, 3, 5.
Yeah. So you just like memorize the scales and everything.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
See, I memorize them through playing them though. So if I'm trying to figure out like, okay, this would be step 4 and 5. Because here's the thing. No one really ever says like, okay, I don't know how to play an A chord. What are the 3 notes? Someone says, here, play these 4 chords. And then you have to kind of figure out what key it's in.
Right.
So then I'll be like, okay, if there's 2 major chords a whole step apart, it has to be steps 4 and 5. So then reverse engineer that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And the shape of playing steps 4 and 5 will lead me back to 1 in my head too, you know?
Yeah. I always feel like...
And it's not even like playing the whole thing too, you know? It's just the distance and like the ratios. But I always thought keyboardists were super interesting to talk to because it's the same thing, but you have to change your shape as you move up. Whereas guitar, if you learn like 5 major chord shapes, you know all the major chords and you could just slide them up and down.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I wish I had any idea of how like guitar functioned in shapes. I feel like guitar is a lot much harder than piano.
Yeah, I mean, it's harder to visualize.
But a lot of people say piano is like the hardest instrument.
No, dude, trumpet is the hardest instrument. I can't even make a fucking note on a trumpet. And I know how to play saxophone, too. Yeah, trumpet's ridiculous. But keyboard is the most visual instrument, in my opinion. And guitars, it's more like the shape of your hands. It kind of, it's weird at first to switch between them really quickly. But as you're learning them, as you just like look at the shape, you remember those shapes so fast. But here's the thing, again, like what I was saying, once you learn those 5 major shapes, like you could play an E major chord open, which means you have some of the strings that you're not fretting at all. There's an E, a G, an A, a C, a D. And if you know those, you just like, you take a A chord, you slide it up a whole step and you have a B. But a B you can't play open. So if you know how to play, you need to know how to play an A chord to play a B. Yeah. That makes sense. You know? If you learn those 5 main shapes and you just learn how to like slide them up and down, it's almost learning the little triads within those chords that you learn everything. Like, for example, if you learn a G chord, you know the entire pentatonic scale because it's just playing a G chord, pretty much. The other thing, too, is like there's a root note that's a main kind of note for each instrument. I feel like that's C for a piano, but for guitar it's E because that's the lowest. And like playing an E major is the most guitar-y thing that you could possibly do, you know?
Yeah.
So what kind of shit are you teaching these kids? Like, what do you think the fastest way to get good at piano is?
I don't know, man. I haven't really like put much thought into like lesson planning and like teaching styles.
Well, do you teach them songs? Do you teach them chords?
I just teach them like, I just see like how fast kids can grasp shit. Like, just like out of the box thinking in a way. I have this one really good student who is like 10, but he's just like eager to learn and wants to do it, has a good attitude, and just like picks up shit fast, like faster than most kids, you know. So I can teach him like cool stuff, you know, but so many kids think too literally.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating. Like, I don't know.
And I think a big thing of lessons is you show them what to think about and practice that week until you see them next.
Yeah, especially, and then teaching kids over Zoom. If they're not into it face to face, dude, like Zoom is just like
right
a million times more frustrating to get it in their brain. Dude, today I have been transcribing the shit out of this solo. So like right here.
Is that a Rhodes? Ooh, that's nice.
That's all I have so far. This part's sick right here.
Ooh, halftime.
Right here, I love this one. So pretty.
Yeah, that is really pretty. So wait, I've been meaning to have a sit-down conversation about this too. So guitars, you can't really do extension chords, and I also want to hear more about the whole half scale. So with your keyboard, tell me about what you think of when you think of like extensions, like going about adding ones in a progression.
Yeah. So let's take a look at this. Like, so whenever you're playing like extensions, like they're always gonna
Yeah. Oh, here, I'll grab a guitar too.
yeah, they're always gonna be like inverted.
What do you mean?
Meaning like you're not playing like for example C major chord. First inversion is like you rotate basically. So it's C E G is root position.
Oh no, not an inversion, an extension.
I know. I'm saying so. Extensions are always played in like inversions.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Basically, like so, like for example, I'm playing right now like C major 9. If you're playing a major 9 chord, you just automatically drop the root. Like you automatically omit the root. So like, so C major 9 in root position would be like D E G B.
So is that almost like playing a E minor 7th over a C major?
Yes.
Huh.
Right.
Yeah, so
like
here's the only way that I could do that on a guitar. I would record a C major chord, and then I would record the other one on top of that as a second track. But I've been doing that. Like, it kind of works.
you can't just play like C E G. I mean, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Could you play like...
You can, but it's never called that. Like, it would be a C add 9 instead. Because there's only a limited amount of strings you could play at once, you know?
Can you play... Okay, so you go from like that... You can play like C major 7. Let's play normal C major 7. And then you go to like an E7 sharp 9. So that's like a 3-note chord, basically. So I'm playing like
A C major 7 to a... What'd you say?
E7 sharp 9. So you have... Your sharp 9 is basically G.
Right.
Or... yeah, so you're gonna... The way I voice that is just like E in the bass, and then right hand's playing G sharp, D, and G.
See, I would just straight up play an E minor 7th for that in the shape of an A, and that would be like a nice accent.
No, it has to have the dominant feel to it though, because then
no, you
then
could just
goes
like
to...
that would be a E major or E minor 7/C on the guitar, like right here.
Yeah, for that first chord, but then that second one play E7 sharp 9. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And then play an A minor 9. So, can you play an A minor 9 in like in third inversion? So G's in the bass.
How could I do that on a guitar? Let's see.
So it's like the notes are G, B, C, E.
No, I know the notes. I'm trying to figure out a way I can shape that with my fingers. That's what I'm saying. Like, guitars are really interesting like that. But for that same reason, if you have certain shapes that randomly work, they blow everyone's mind on the guitar. Like this, for example.
That's a long ass progression.
So
when
would you use those?
So a lot of the times, like you look at like jazz standards or like whatever, any like pop tune, you just look at like the chord chart. They're just gonna give you like basic ass voicings like C7, C major 7, E major 7, E minor 7. But like within that, I just feel like I have a good grasp Wow, I just said crisp.
A
Of a
brisk
gra-
grasp.
A brisk grasp. I could go for brisk right now.
Dude, me too. I used to have a brisk every day for lunch from age like 7 to 17.
Yeah, so like I'll look at dominant chords immediately. I just like okay, add a 9, or like if it works, add a sharp 9 or add a 13. If I see a major 7, I'm just like automatically add a 9 because it just like sounds more full. Sometimes sharp 11 if it like works, you know. It's all
Right.
about like it's so much like fiddling. Bill Evans, one of those like the craziest jazz composers, pianists ever, died of a heroin overdose in like the 70s. He has like some really crazy like voicings that use like barely any notes, and a lot of people try to like play like freaking 7-note chords.
Yeah.
Like a C major 6. I learned this chord. Been learning these like cluster chords. Like a G sharp major 6 7 9. Like
A G
why would
sharp
you-
major 6 7 9.
Yeah, it's just like why would you want to play that?
Yeah,
But apparently,
so wait,
it's
is it
just,
a
like,
dominant 7th? Only
No,
the
like,
major 6th?
It's wild, dude. I could give you like a whole chart on how to like transpose like to all the keys, but
Damn, that's
apparently
crazy.
it's like super. If you play like low register, really effective for like ballad, jazz
Right.
ballads and like that kind of setting.
You know the running
But still,
stereotype
the
that people are like, jazz, why don't they just play the right notes? I feel like a big part of that is not the extensions part, because that's just beautiful. It's the passing tones a lot of the time, where people are going through like solo phrases, kind of. So what would you say makes good jazz? You know, because it's not always hitting certain notes.
yeah.
What's
Dude,
your
I don't
version of
know.
it?
I just feel like space is so underrated.
Space.
Everybody always has. There's just always like pressure. I've been to like open jams and like there's just always pressure like when you're like on spotlight and it's your turn to solo. Like horn players will, they'll like play a line, they'll take a breath and then play another line and like tell a story basically like by taking breaths. And like that's what like my jazz piano teacher said to like do when you're playing solos. You don't gotta like always fill up that space. Like you kind of gotta just like let it ride and like stab in certain areas. And it's just like he's like, there's an old saying in jazz. He'll tell me this every lesson. This is like 90-year-old dude. He'll be like, there's this old saying in jazz, that cat's playing a lot of shit, but he's not saying anything. And it's just like,
Huh, I like that.
hits.
Yeah, that does
because
hit.
like I'll be at these open jams and like everyone's just like, you're not playing, like you have to be playing like all the time, but it's just like, no, you don't. Like sometimes just listening to the rhythm section just groove is beautiful in itself and so tasteful. That's why I think like the best solos have the most
Purpose.
effective space and like the best areas. I think that's what makes good jazz is like not playing a bunch of shit like and like really building something like up.
And that could be in any genre too. Like that's why I think David Gilmour from Pink Floyd is the best guitar soloist of all time, because he really like sits back until it's time and he really picks his notes.
Yeah.
But you reminded me of something Duke Ellington said too. He thought the rests, the parts where you pick to like not play a note, are just if not more important than the actual notes you pick. And that always stuck with me too, as a drummer especially.
Yeah.
That's a thing I really like doing with drums too, is instead of trying to keep like a really crazy beat, I try to almost delete parts that I would be playing otherwise. So instead of playing like the boom tick boom tick I'll only hit one at a time. So like boom tick tick. Sounds different on the drums than my voice, obviously, but the other thing is too, there's not even just jazz, but there's certain music that I needed to know something beforehand or just kind of understand it first. And the first time I heard it, I didn't really get it. Do you think that, like, why is that more common with jazz? Is it because it's so different than everything else? Because it's not the same kind of like tonics?
I don't know. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's just like if you don't like jazz, then like fuck off. Is how I feel. Because it's like, how could you not? I
Well,
asked my one
here's an
friend. I was like,
example. Go ahead.
yeah, I asked my one friend. I was like, yo, you mess with jazz? He's like, nah, I don't fuck with it.
And
It's
you were
just
like,
like
we're no
he
longer
just like
friends.
sounded so ignorant. Like you just sound so underappreciative of everything you've ever been given
Yeah.
in the music realm. I feel like. I mean, because like obviously I feel like all music really does stem from the blues,
Oh,
which
don't
is
get me
like
started. Starts with
innately.
soul. That's yeah. They all stem from like someone's soul trying to scream out, and that's their voice. You know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
here's a
so
good
like just
example.
saying you don't like jazz is just like a complete paradox and contradiction.
Yeah, it's just myopic. Here's a
Yeah.
good example too. Even Dante, which he does kind of like jazz. He's not been exposed that much to a lot of it, and he doesn't know much theory. So there was a song that we were listening to that was in 5, and it's like boom da na na da na na da boom da na na, and when I hear that, it's completely different than someone who's just trying to like bang their head with it. Because if you tried banging your head with it, every other bar you would be on the wrong beat. But I like to count it as like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and then back. You know, so
Yeah.
it's a way of like
Yeah.
chunking it to understand it in your brain that makes you actually listen to it in a completely different way too. That's more enjoyable.
I think another reason why jazz can be so much fun is like if you do take a liking to it and you just dive in, like if you like just learn about it and just become more intellectual with the subject, I think it's just you go to open mics or open jams and or like jazz clubs where there's live jazz music where you can like really just like appreciate it in person.
Right. Absolutely. Because you
There's
see
just
it
like
happen
so many
before
people
you,
who
you
haven't
know?
experienced that. What's that?
You see it unfolds in front of you, you know? It's people
Yeah.
kind of like finding their way the entire time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me of modular synths too. So a lot of the stuff that people that only play a modular synth do, it's not the same as someone who like plays a regular keyboard synth. They're making certain noises and other people love it, but it sounds really strange and
Right.
it's just
Very much out there.
it's seeing what someone can like create from that, you know? Or even like a Leslie too. Do you know what a Leslie is?
Yeah. I'm
Dude,
pretty sure.
those are one of my favorite effects of all time. Like on anything, a voice, an organ, or anything. But like the sound of that slowing down, it changes the way that people play their notes. And there's stuff
Damn,
like
I'm
that.
looking at it right now.
Oh, dude, it's crazy. It's for the people listening that have no idea the fuck we're talking about this entire time. Leslie, it's like 2 cone speakers faced at 180 degrees from each other that are spinning around, and you have a little switch by your foot that you can pick like a fast
my
mode
God.
or a slow mode.
Yeah.
And as one of them is coming towards you, the pitch is picking up and going away, vice versa. And when it's pointing towards you, it's louder, and when it's pointing to the side, it's quieter. So it's doing like vibrato and tremolo at the same time.
Wait. Yeah, that's crazy because I was at a bar that had like open mic or not, just like live music basically, and this dude was playing a Hammond with a Leslie for sure.
Oh yeah, dude. And people
Dude.
used to throw those in like giant electric guitar amps back in the day.
Oh my gosh.
Before they had PAs, they put the fucking singer through it. They put the bassist through it, the guitarist through it. I mean, hell, if they really needed more drums, they would have mic'd up the drums into a guitar amp probably.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah, that's the only musical innovation, the rotating speaker, like the Leslie, during World War II. And that came from the sirens. So just think of a siren going like...
Mm-hmm.
That shit sounds so cool, though.
Like a military
Especially
siren.
on a Hammond's. Yeah. No, just the Leslie, I mean. It doesn't sound like a siren. It's just more like...
Right.
But, yeah, what about 80s tones too. Like, tell me more about what you know for keyboard sampling in the 80s, and like drums for that matter too. I know you know a lot about that.
Oh man, the Lindrum, the
What's that?
fucking the TR 808s, 909s, the TR
I know
808
those.
Roland,
But
the
like, why was that such a
DX7.
big game changer, and why did that catch on so fast?
What was a game changer?
Just like those instruments, you know?
Yeah. Why did they catch on so fast? I mean, it's all they had, I feel like, also, apart from a normal piano. Like, those machines are also insane. If you look at, like a DX7, uh, or a Korg Mono Poly.
Yeah, I know
Actually,
those.
Sam like rented one of those from Carnegie Library. Those
Dude,
shits are like,
he rents insane shit from there. I didn't know they had any
yeah,
of that.
yeah, dude, you could
I
get
need a
some nice
library
shit.
card.
But, dude, it's like not easy to program. It's wild.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
technology back then was not intuitive whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean, more
The
so like the
DX7,
sounds. That took over everything, you know? You think it's
Oberheim.
because just people were playing around with it and it sounded so new?
Oh, dude, you know who you have to check out if you're into like 80s sound design? Go to Instagram and this guy named Protovolt. You've probably seen him before.
Protovolt. Yeah, let me check him out.
Dude, he has the craziest like collection. By the way, speaking of synths, also Mike Dean released an album.
I listened to it. I was pretty disappointed, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, it
I
didn't
didn't
have
like the
any
track
dynamics.
list.
Yeah, the track list, like, it's whatever. But here's the thing. It sounded like Shine On You Crazy Diamonds without any of the other instruments, but it never went anywhere. Like, it wasn't dynamic. He didn't lead up into anything. It sounded like he was, you know, when you open a new project and you're trying to find the first instrument, it sounded like he
hmm
just recorded himself fucking around with the first instrument the entire time though. There was one track that had like the drums on it and everything, and then there was another one that had a really cool sample. But it's all very sample worthy, but I don't think it I was just disappointed because I know what he's capable of.
Did you listen to the whole thing?
I listened to about half.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, did you check this Protovolt? No, I didn't check it out at all. Mesmerizes me how much like money this would all cost.
Damn, his setups are crazy, yeah. He has
Dude,
like a vintage
unreal, right?
Mac. You should check out his Bus Crates too. He's from Pittsburgh. He does
I
a
know
bunch
Bus
of
Crates, yeah.
Yeah, you know him? Do you like actually know him?
I don't know him, but I know of him.
Yeah, we gotta link up with him. He seems really cool. He's got some dope
Dude,
gear too.
he seems like kind of reclusey. I've definitely DM'd him before, never replied. Doesn't
Mhm.
seem like he's really open for collabs.
Yeah, I don't know how much music he actually like produces. I don't know.
He's got a cool
He's
setup
very
too.
mysterious. What about bass lines too? Going back to piano, like I feel like a big thing
Bass
that
lines.
changed for the 80s in particular is when people started using keyboards to play guitar parts and bass lines especially, you know. I mean, the 808 pretty much like changed the game for bass and stuff, and you could do like more boomy instead of a walking bass.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to pick your brain though. What do you think about like 80s and bass lines and stuff like that? How do you think that new equipment changed how people were playing and like the type of music that was happening?
I'm trying to think.
That's okay. Take your time. It's a
The
real
disco
zinger too. I'm
scene.
really trying to pick your brain. It's not even like
Oh, I
questions that I
know.
want answers to. I just
I
want to
don't.
hear
I'm
inside of your
chilling,
brain
dude.
work.
I'm trying to like pick your brain as you're picking mine.
That's what she
That's
said.
how these podcasts work. I'm trying to think. Bass lines actually became important to me, I feel like only like within the past 2-3 years of music production. I never really paid attention to it before.
I mean, it's a big thing trying to produce something, you know? You
hmm
kind of are forced to do that.
I think once my dad was like, I don't even hear the bass, like, and I was like,
Really?
Dad, yes you do. Like you're just refusing to open your ears. I feel like he's like, no, I don't hear the bass. I was like, you don't hear like the bass line, you know what I mean? He's just like he can't hear it, and It's like, man, that's just like wild because you definitely hear it, but
I'll send him a song.
right, no, like I'll play a mustard gas and he's just like, yeah, I hear that, but then I'll be like, okay, now listen to this other song. I'm like, you don't hear like the 808s? He's like, no, I don't hear that. I'm just like,
play
dude.
him that XXX Tentacion beat that's like fucked up, and the bass just is so distorted over everything else.
Yeah.
Like, do you hear it now, Dad?
You hear the bass now?
Damn, that's funny as hell. So wait, when you make beats too, do you tend to be like ground up or top down? Meaning like, do you do the sample first and then build the drums and the groove and the bass and everything, or do you do vice versa?
I do like both. Sometimes it's like I love just like messing with drums because I feel like I can just like come up with like chords or something. I don't know. I feel like I can make a melody work. You know, I think drums are really like what I like to really work on because I think I have the melody part pretty
Yeah, then you get to
well.
jam your way through it too if you have a little bit of drums to
Yeah.
put on top of,
I've-
you know?
I feel like I'm good at like finger drumming too. A lot of the time I don't even quantize my shit
Yeah.
at all.
There's a cool setting on Reason that you can quantize it like as you record it. I feel like I kind of do a little bit of both too. But the thing that it comes back to, I remember Tom Petty of all people, which I was never like a huge Tom Petty fan, but I remember on this VH1 Classics, just like general rock documentary, it talked about lead guitarists the whole time, and then it just went to him on an acoustic. He's like, yeah, all the lead guitarists always got all the credit, but I always loved a good rhythm guitarist. And he was talking about songwriting and how if you just boil everything away, what is left is the groove. So I always just try to develop a groove first, whether that's using melody or this or that. Because the thing is, like, if you have a melody, by definition, you don't just have like notes picked, you have when they're happening, you know, the spacing between them. So if I'd start the groove on drums, keyboard, guitar, singing it, whatever, it's holding the groove for the rest of the stuff. Like once I put that down, I know the entirety of the rest of the song, you know? And it's not even necessarily that I hear it all in my head, but it just kind of unfolds because I know where I'm going.
I feel like lately when I be making beats or like try, because I haven't honestly cooked up anything in a while. I feel like because I've just been like, well, I just feel like with everything going on, there's not really any deadlines to be keeping.
Yeah.
Personally,
I mean, even more so, you know?
Yeah, and I
time.
feel like it's just like, yeah, I create for like 2 weeks straight, and then like I go on like a month hiatus of like,
Oh, definitely.
what the fuck do I do? And it's just like, I wonder if I'll make anything cool in the next week because I haven't made anything in a while. I feel like.
See, here's my thing, though. I tried to make a beat every day during one summer, but I quickly learned that the best way to do it is when you feel like making something, make something. When you feel like finishing something, finish something. When you feel like writing or like figuring out what vocalists you want, do that. If you want to do a video, whatever. There's always like a million other parts of kind of the same. We'll say there's a million different windows that are all kind of looking in the same direction, you know? And that doesn't mean you have to just, It's always just like trading off and figuring out what you really feel like doing that day and then making sure you do it very efficiently. Like not even efficiently. Like even when I sit down at Reason, if I don't necessarily make something, I approach it as if I'm picking up a guitar for 15 seconds and just like noodling around with it, you know?
Yeah, I think that's very valid. As long as like you're doing something musical related, it doesn't have to be like beat making. Cause like
definitely
that'll always be there, you know.
Yeah, studying music theory.
Yeah, like today I was like transcribing that crazy solo.
Oh, exactly.
Still not done with that, but that's like a nice goal to have for me. And I think I've been trying to like, cause my friend John is getting married in June. Or July, actually. He's supposed to get married at least. And, like, he wants me to play during their cocktail hour. So there's, like, a bunch of songs I have to learn. So I've just been trying to learn more, like, popular music, too. And maybe post covers and stuff like that. instead of just original music constantly, because I just have like a fuck ton of beats, you know. I could honestly not make a beat for a while and just post them and post covers.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm just like not satisfied with doing that, you know. That doesn't
I
feel
totally
complete
get
to
it.
me.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I've mostly been working on finishing tracks. I've been working on that collab EP with Danny. That's all live instruments, and then that solo LP that's also live instruments. But then I have a third bucket that I'm gonna do after that. That's more like electronic drums and programs and stuff mixed with some live instruments. So I always have buckets where days I don't feel like working on finalizing songs or writing and recording, I'll just start something new. Because I know it's going to be used at some point, and if not, I'm figuring out the sound of it.
Do you have a website, right?
I did have one when I was like applying for jobs, but I stopped getting it.
Was it on Wix?
Yeah, I used Wix. I'm actually in the process of building one for like Andrew Chris Music, but I haven't decided what exactly I'm going to use. I saw some good options on Adobe too. Like I had to learn how to code a website. Like I made one for practice for On Tap at work. And I learned all the CSS, which is like the style, and the HTML, which is like writing whatever. But also, I don't think I even need to do that because like Foursquare or something like that, it's such a simple website. It doesn't have to be that complicated.
Yeah.
But what about you?
Yeah.
Do you have one?
No, dude, I've been really thinking about like investing in that though, and also investing in like a DSLR. And there's just so much shit I wish I had like money for too. Like I really would love to have a desktop Mac and Premiere.
When I introduced you, I forgot about the video aspect. You're pretty good at video too.
Yeah.
Good with the camera and shit. Where'd you originally like learn all that?
I've just always been, you know, infatuated with like, you know, cinematography, films, movies, you know, but I've never like really done anything. And I wish I'd have done more, but I just feel like it was just a kind of an interest rather than passion.
Well, I got you into that Premiere game now.
Yeah, my trial just
2
ended,
weeks ago?
sadly. My dad used to have this. He still has it, actually, dude. I should get it next time I go home. Dude, he has this, like, vintage VCR tape camcorder.
Oh, that's sick. I have one of those, too.
It's a Sony. Dude, it's so dope.
Damn.
Yeah, I have hella like home videos and piano recital footage from that on that camera.
I actually have to start getting the Adobe thing too because my free trial's about to end. But I'm using Joe Zampatelli's Pit ID to get the student discount. So
sick.
I'll definitely send that link over.
Yeah, let me know, dude.
Yeah, no, you need to get on that Premiere game because even that short bit, you definitely learned very quickly. I was impressed.
Yeah, I haven't. The thing is, like, I already knew like how to do that stuff, but I haven't worked in Premiere in like over a year.
Exactly.
And it was very. It just gets so stressy too. Like on my little Mac, it doesn't. I just don't have the processing power. I feel like to do Premiere.
Yeah, I mean it depends. Like some files, if you make them a certain way, and like they could get out of hands. But
there's also so much terminology in just like video editing and Premiere, like the Premiere world that is just so foreign to me, and like I almost just feel like I don't want to learn it, but like I should be like that. I just have some mental block against it.
Well, I learned it on accident. I wanted to film a music video, so I filmed it, and then I was like, all right, here's all this footage. Let's figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
But then I got more into. I always found myself trying to explain things to people, and then I would have to like find the example and then show them and have the long conversation. And then I started being like, why don't I just make a video? So if someone asked me this, I could just be like, here, I just researched everything and just watched this 10-minute video essay.
Yeah. Yeah, that shit that you sent me was so tight.
Which one?
The one was the one of you like changing colors and you're like, I'm Andrew Chris from Pittsburgh.
Oh, that one. Yeah, the teaser. Yeah. That was for
fire, dude.
Dream Hop. Yeah, dude, I have a bunch of those. I got really into like the effects side of it for that cuz I wanted to make everything really dreamy.
Do you know Max Novak?
That rings a bell, yeah.
He's like from around here. He moved to LA though. He has his shit down pat, bro. He does like he's a really good visual effects guy, editor,
Did he know Isaiah? I feel like I met him through
yeah,
him.
probably. He lives in LA now, but he does like a bunch of like tutorials and he makes his own like plugin presets pack. Like he's got his shit down.
Oh, that's what's up.
But yeah, he has a bunch of views on his YouTube tutorials too, like on how to do like transitions and like crazy cool effects. He has a lot of cool work.
That's pretty tight. Yeah, some other videos too that I kind of just made because I was interested in making them. Do you remember that Office one? I remember you commented on that.
Yeah, that was really
like,
sweet.
Oh, I showed my dad. It was crazy. I made that because I was just, like super interested. So I
Yeah.
I deconstructed an episode of The Office, and I was interested in seeing like when the cuts were,
Mm-hmm.
how much they showed what, like the push-ins and push-outs and shit like that. But that kind of goes back to what type of music I make too. Like, why did I make it in the first place? It's because it wasn't out there. Like, I didn't have anywhere I could go to see that video of The Office deconstructed, so I just made it.
Yeah.
You know? And I feel like that's just kind of how I work for music and creating anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like that's how I feel too, a lot with like the beat video style that I do. Sure, like everybody does beat videos, but I don't know, not in like the storytelling way that I do it in like the transition to the anime and like the cuts to like the beats and stuff. I haven't seen anybody really do anything like that. You know, with like keyframe edits and cool shots and stuff. I haven't seen anybody do that transitioning into like some sort of cartoon aspect. It'd be sick to like learn how to do animation, you know, and do that shit organically.
Dude, animating would be sick.
Yeah, but
if I had one skill that I don't have right now that I could just like snap my fingers and have, it would definitely be animating.
Facts.
So I'm so jealous. It takes so long, but I mean, it's getting faster and faster every day.
Yeah.
You know what question I've been asked more than any in the past 2 months is, Andrew, you know a lot of good movies. What would you recommend? So before I say what I've been telling people, if I asked you that, what would you say? And also, like, what are your favorite movies of all time, too? Double-barreled question.
As of recently, I just watched a sick movie last night. It's in Spanish. It's called The Invisible Guest. Great movie. I can't tell you what it's about, dude. You just have to watch it. Another movie like that, and also Korean. You've probably heard of it, Parasite.
Yeah, I watched that. Have you ever seen The Host by that same guy?
What's that?
Have you ever seen The Host by him too?
The Host. No, I
yeah,
haven't.
It was his like big blockbuster, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
That one's pretty interesting too. So if you like that, you should definitely check that other one out too.
Do you think Parasite should have won Best Picture?
No, Jojo Rabbit should have. Did you see that?
I didn't watch that.
Oh my God, Jojo Rabbit was one of that may have been my favorite movie I've seen in 4
Jojo
years.
Rabbit. What's that? Is that a comedy or?
No, it's hilarious, but it will, like, my definition of a good movie is something that will make you hysterically laugh and hysterically cry in the deepest way, you know?
I saw the trailer for this.
I saw the trailer and I was like, what the fuck? But then I watched it, and you know how A Christmas Story is like from the kid's perspective and everyone else is incompetent, kind of like Tom Sawyer-ish?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like that, but it's a kid who is really into Nazis, and I can't really tell you much without ruining it, but like he goes through a journey where he like figures out what's actually going on, and like that movie made me cry laughing at least 4 times and made me cry for real like twice.
Is it?
But it's so good.
It's like I saw the trailer for it, so I didn't know it got nominated. Did it win anything?
I think. Let me look.
Man, fuck the Oscars though.
Dude, the Oscars are becoming worse and worse. They don't even have a fucking host anymore just because no one can do anything anymore.
I also hate the I kind of hate the Grammys. I hate them all, like the Emmys, the Grammys.
Oh my God, the Grammys are my least favorite night on earth. Yeah, wait, so Jojo Rabbit won Best Actress in Supporting Role, Scarlett Johansson. She was really good.
Fuck
and then
yeah.
best writing for adapted screenplay. But here's the thing: the little kid who was the main character, he wasn't able to be nominated because he's like a little kid. But I don't give a fuck about what anyone says. That kid gave by far the best performance of anyone. It was so good. Yeah,
Dude,
check that shit out. It was so good.
Did you watch Honey Boy?
I haven't seen that yet.
It's really good. You should also check out Mid-90s if you haven't.
I've been meaning to watch that as well.
So good. Both about like the directors' lives. Honey Boy is crazy because it's about Shia LaBeouf's life, and he plays his dad.
Huh. Yeah, I saw he did that in the Peanut Butter Falcon, was it called?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I just watched this Spanish movie the other night. Mr. Kaplan. It was a free movie that was on Rachel's Smart TV. So it's like, do you know about the Nazis that fled Nuremberg trials and they went to Buenos Aires?
I don't think so.
And then they ended up they ended up finding Eichstein or whatever his name was. Something like 30 years after the war.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie's pretty much about this old guy who lives in Uruguay, who he fled his family in Poland during the concentration camps and everything. Like, they all died in Auschwitz.
Yeah.
Then he kind of started a new life, and it's mostly a comedy, actually. So this guy kind of is like, so what important things have I done in my life? And he thinks that there's this Nazi there. There's a German, and he devotes his entire life as like his life with his family is kind of falling apart in the most hilarious way.
Mm-hmm.
And he devotes his life to trying to bring this Nazi to Israel. That was a good watch, dude. That was under the radar. It came out in 2015.
Sounds crazy.
Yeah, if you don't mind Spanish, then definitely check that shit out.
Yeah, I just watched a Spanish movie yesterday. It was dope.
Yeah. That's why I brought that up.
You need to watch Invisible Guest, bro. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, no, I just wrote that down.
What's this one called you just told me?
Mr. Kaplan.
Mr. Kaplan.
Jacobo. Yeah.
Is that on Netflix?
I'm not sure, but I can find a link for you.
Mr. Kaplan? How do you spell that?
Yeah. Kaplan. I just typed in Jacob Uruguay Nazis and I found it.
Mr. Kaplan 2014. No, it's not on Netflix. Oh, it's only 38 minutes.
No, it's like an hour and 38 minutes probably.
What's that?
I'll find a link and I'll send it to you. It's a full movie.
It says it's 38
I'll find
minutes.
a link though. No, definitely not.
You sure, dude?
Yeah. Maybe 138.
Oh, an hour 38.
It was pretty long.
Sorry, I didn't see the 1 hour part.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
I was like 138 minutes. That's way too long.
So, what do you usually say if people are like, what are your favorite movies of all time?
All time? Dude, I think one of my favorite movies of all time is probably Popstar.
What's that?
Oh God, you gotta write that one down, dude. Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping. Oh my God, it is the most hilarious mockumentary spoof on the music industry, bro. And it has a
Andy Samberg.
Yeah, it's a Lonely Island.
Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stop.
Dude, it is hilarious. Dude, you have to watch it. It's one of the most brilliant movies.
It's about like boy bands.
Yeah, it's hilarious, bro.
Huh. I'll check that out.
Crazy
sure.
cast. I actually watched it
2016.
whilst tripping, and it was crazy funny.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll check that out. That sounds really funny. What else do you usually say?
Give
me like a serious movie. I'm gonna get a beer. I'll be right back. As you think.
I'm trying to think.
Play some interlude music. Back.
You ever watch Boyhood?
Boyhood's great, dude. I swear that is the same age as I am. So watching that unfold in front of me, I was like, "Whoa!" He's the same age as when he has the Game Boys and everything. I was like, "Oh, that's the Game Boy that was out then."
Yeah, that movie is insane.
Yeah, that's a really good movie. Crazy concept.
Moonlight, also crazy.
I have had that on my list for a while. I've been meaning to watch that. I really like Whiplash. That might be my favorite movie.
Whiplash is a classic too.
And
it's just so unrealistic.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. But the whole like, especially the ending. You know, the battling between someone who's pushing someone else to be great, and then making their
Yeah.
life hell, and then shit falling through. But that ending, that little nod, you cannot watch that movie and not like freak out. I once
Yeah.
I was on a plane ride coming back from Costa Rica, I think. And the
Shit.
oh wait, no, Germany, sorry. The guy sitting in front of me was watching that movie, and at the end he was like doing all the air drums and everything, and at the end he like took his headphones off and looked around and he was like, "Let's go." And I saw him, I was like, "Yes, yes." I was watching that with like
I forgot how that movie ends. He like freaks out on the guy, and then he gets kicked out of school, right?
no, that's not
And
how it
then
ends.
the professor,
Yeah, go ahead. Let's see what you remember.
he gets shafted, right?
Professor gets shafted right in the shaft, dude. And then
What do you mean?
he gets fired from his job, and then
Right.
eventually also this
They
movie
meet up.
This movie is about a drummer named Andrew. So there's that. But also
Oh,
he
okay,
goes
I didn't know that.
he goes to this nightclub where his teacher happens to be
and
playing.
he's playing piano.
But then when he brings him in his bands, right before he's like, all right, there's all of the critics out there that, like, if you play good, you're set for your career. If you fuck up, you will never play anywhere else ever again. And he gives them the wrong sheet music and has the band play something, and he can't play anything. So he storms off the stage, but then he comes back and he just starts playing Whiplash instead. And he plays like that huge long solo in the middle and everything. And at the very, very ends, the guy starts being like, "Yeah, come on, play that fucking solo." And then there's that moment of silence.
I forgot.
And he just
that's
winks
how it
at him.
ended.
Dude, moments of silence during most intense parts in movies, they always get me. That especially. It ends right before the final note, and it just shows him in slow motion, like give him the look.
I remember. That was crazy.
Oh,
dude.
right, Caravan. Yeah, you're right.
That was crazy. I'm about to watch it right now.
Yeah, dude, I listen to that all the time when I'm doing work. That song. Boom, gana, boom, ga, boom, gana, boom, ga. That was who? Duke Ellington? Or no, that was yeah, it is Duke Ellington. Hell yeah.
I can't believe like Miles Teller. Do you think he actually had to learn drums for this, or is it actually jazz drummer?
So both. He had to learn more, and he already kind of knew. That's also not him actually playing it, but he gets pretty damn close.
Okay. I love Miles Teller.
Yeah.
Project X, one of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah,
also.
I forgot that was him. That's funny.
When he's like, "Yo, Martel, we go to high school," and he like pulls out his phone and starts taking a video of him.
Yeah.
and he's like, "Oh no shit, I'm going to that party," and then he starts leaving, and his friend's like, "Yo, Martel, bring your mitt, we'll play catch." he's like, "No," and his friend's like, "Bring your mitt." What the fuck? So many crazy movies I haven't watched in a while.
Yeah, Grand Budapest Hotel is a good one too.
I haven't watched that. Yeah, I used to say Slumdog Millionaire was one of my favorite movies too.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, Slumdog Millionaire's crazy.
Project X is just like a cult classic.
Oh, definitely. You know what else too is one of my favorite movies is It's a Wonderful Life. And as cheesy as that is, that movie is like one of the best movies of all time. If you can watch that movie without like getting emotional as he comes back after deciding not to kill himself, and then the entirety of his life he's like his dreams are pushed down and he has to like go take care of his family's bank and stuff like that, like the town, his family, like he gives up and sacrifices so much, and then he reaches that breaking point until he realizes that it's worth it, and then everyone comes back in and just like starts pouring their life savings on him to help him, and he's just like holding his little girl and smiling. That shit is ridiculous.
Hits hard.
Yeah, for real. That's a heartstrings tugs at the heartstrings. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yo, somebody in my work group chat was just like, Get-Go sells spiked slushies to go.
What is that?
Get-Go, they sell spiked slushies.
Well, they sell those
to
now.
go.
Ooh.
I guess, dude.
Yo, there's like these little markets in downtown, they have those, and walking home from lunch, me and my he lives below me. Me and my friends used to like get them for each other and then hand them off and then just like sit and chill for a bit. You have one of those and you're pretty set, honestly. They're good as hell. I have 3 more things. I want to talk about skiing too, because you like skiing, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, dude, skiing's fucking crazy. What was it like? Because you grew up in Bradford, right?
Yeah.
What was like the closest spot for you? Seven Springs?
No, Holiday Valley.
Where is that?
That's in like upstate New York.
Huh.
Or Western New York, not upstate.
Right. Yeah, I mean, same thing.
Basically. Yeah, it's like 30 minutes away from Bradford. It's on the way to Buffalo.
Yeah, it's so weird hearing people that grew up in Pittsburgh, they had to go all the way there. Because, like, me in Scranton, I had 6 or 7 different spots that were all, like, within a half hour almost. Well, maybe 45 more so.
Yeah, Holiday
One was
Valley
like
is some of the
15
best
minutes away.
skiing on the East Coast.
Huh. Yeah, I'll have to
No
go there.
cap.
We should hit that up, dude. I love skiing.
Dude, I was in Tahoe, like during New Year's. That shit was
Damn.
insane, dude.
I've actually never skied outside of Pennsylvania.
Dude, skiing out west is like, oh my god. It's just so
Yeah, I heard
gorgeous,
it's-
man. It was like 55 degrees and sunny, and like the views are just, like you just like are sailing down this mountain. You just have to take a break just to take it in. Like the view is just unreal.
I bet. Yeah, I heard it's like a whole different game. You gotta lean forward or lean back or something. I forget.
They say that like the powder, there's like hella powder out west. When I went, there wasn't really much. It was more so like packy snow.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's probably mostly like real snow there versus here. It's a lot of fake snow.
Yeah. Also, dude, like past 2 winters have sucked.
Yeah, they really have. Oh my god, we got snow like 1.5 times here. This
Dude.
this winter.
Yeah, this winter was really like non-existent. Scary.
Lame. Especially, dude, in the Poconos, we used to have like 3 feet of the 3 feet on the ground at all times. So you can, like 6 out of 7 times you
I know,
go up to
man.
the mountain, it's going to be snowing. It was great.
You know that Bradford was in like the Weather Channel contest, like runner up with Fargo, North Dakota as like the worst winter weather in the nation.
No.
Yeah, dude, it's just like like I don't know when, but it was a thing.
Damn. Yeah, I mean we had a decently warm winter at least. A lot of rain.
Hella rain. I remember it snowing like 1.5 times basically.
Yep. Yeah, and then the winter before that, like it was really cold with that Arctic freeze shit. That
Oh
was
my God.
crazy.
Even
the
last
air
year,
felt
it was-
so different.
last
It felt like
year-
the air was dead.
Last year it was really cold. I remember it was the coldest fucking week of the year, and our heat went out. Like our furnace stopped working, dude. And it was
Ooh.
like negative 40 wind chills.
Yeah, that's no bueno.
I
Did I ever?
I didn't stay in my house for like a week though.
Yeah, where'd you
Go.
go?
Fuck that. I stayed at my buddy Comple's.
Nice. Just.
Oh yeah, I also went to LA. This was like during spring break.
Oh, that's
This was
nice.
like first week of March, and it was like freezing.
Dude, a good week in LA will really set you straight.
Oh yeah,
or
something like
the
that.
exact opposite. Oh, LA's fun though. I definitely like LA. It's interesting.
It's definitely interesting, dude.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's kind of I've definitely had mixed emotions. I like San Diego better.
Yeah, I've heard good things about San Diego. I've never been there.
San
though.
Diego's a lot chiller,
Hmm.
nicer.
I gotta check that out.
LA's so big and dirty and nasty.
It is. It is. I have
That's
to
how I
say,
feel.
like,
It's
even
just like
I'm used to New York City. My whole family lives there, like except my own family. But
Shit.
I go there. I go there every Christmas morning to my grandma's house, and I'm totally down to admit that New York is definitely a dirty place. But here's the thing: me saying that LA is really dirty, that should mean something. Like LA's
Yeah.
just. It's like an ashtray. That's a good way to say it. Not only because it's always on fire, but people go there and like not even just like make it dirty, but they use that town like it's their goddamn bitch. Whereas New York,
Yeah.
it's like people who have been there, they've been there. You know, like they still treat it like their own home, but it's just so used and so dense.
That's facts for sure.
Yeah, definite facts. Speaking of, Wiz Khalifa told me once that Pittsburgh, like, of all of the places he's been, he was like, Pittsburgh there's not another place on the earth that is doing what Pittsburgh is doing. Like, just, I mean, he did grow up here, so it might be because of that, but.
Wait, you said he told you this? Like, he told you this?
Yeah, I never told you the story about meeting him?
No.
Oh, okay, so let me back up. We were opening for the Internet. Do you know them? They were like Mac Miller's backing bands. They were an Odd Future, everything. So we were opening up for them. And so have you ever been in the back room of Mr. Smalls?
Yeah.
It's like over on the side. Okay, so that's not a big room. What is it, like 15 feet wide by 15 or something like that?
Yeah.
So you could only realistically maybe fit comfortably 15 people in there.
Was it
right?
the same room we were in for Amir's show? That back room?
No. They don't do this same room anymore. It's more like the side of the stage, but you have to kind of like come off of the stage in front and then go in over there.
Okay, yeah, probably not then.
Yeah, it's even smaller than that one that we were in. So we got there to sound check and everything, and I put my stuff down in the corner, just like trying to keep it out of the way and everything. And then there were a few seats right next to it. One of the coolest seats I've ever seen, which was covered in like a zebra print, was right next to where I put my bag. So we went and sound checked, and then we were kind of just like chilling out in the venue, checking out. I think the Internet might have been sound checking or something like that. So we were just watching them. And I got to talk to Sid the Kid standing next to me, and I was telling her about how the hi-hat was invented in Pittsburgh by a woman. She was like, oh, shit, get out. That's cool as fuck. And she was super nice. Like, everyone in the Internet, as a quick side tangent, was so nice. At the end of the night,
that's lit.
we were like, so if we want to get in touch with you guys, like, can we have a manager's contact? And Chris Smith, the drummer, was like, oh, I mean, hell, fucking add me on Snapchat, bro. And he always answers me. Like, yeah, the nicest people on earth. So anyway, I go back to, like, get my wallet or something to go get a drink. Actually, I don't think I was even 21. So I was just going back to my backpack to put something away or, like, get something. Literally 3 feet next to where my backpack was, Wiz Khalifa was sitting there, looks up, and then he's like, sup, fam? Says hi to me, and I'm like, what's up, man?
No way.
Nice to meet you. I'm a big fan. And he was just like, he was the coolest person. So even before he was in that room, everyone that was back there, there was a few people that like worked at Daily Bread or just were wearing the Daily Bread shirts. There was Chew Jackson was back there. He was pretty chill. But a few of the other people, they didn't know anyone from Adam. They were just like the dudes who dress up and act like they're important type people.
Yeah.
And the entire time they were just like, the way they were talking was like, oh yeah, I belong in this room, kind of. Like I was just like chilling over by my stuff, just talking to Jake and Isaiah and everything.
Yeah.
And Wiz was definitely the person in that room that was the exact opposite of all of that. He wasn't like, yeah, oh my God, I'm the most important person in this room. He was,
yeah, absolutely.
I shit you not, he was rolling up so many different joints and just passing them left and right.
Oh, probably.
That, like,
I've heard of
everyone,
people who've also met Wiz.
Apparently he always does that. But here's the thing too, so everyone was trying to kind of bring the group conversation over to him so he would respond to them. And at one point, I kind of just, like, sat next to him. I was like, so, like, what made you get into music? And his demeanor kind of just, like, changed. He looked at me. He's like, oh, like, this is nice. Someone actually just wants to have, like, a normal conversation with me. He's like, yeah, you know, I don't know, actually. Let me think about that. I think my dad had a vinyl collection that we used to just like sit and listen to and stuff, and he would show me why he liked it, and I was like, oh, get out. That was me too, but it was with like iTunes and Jimi Hendrix and stuff like that. We had to talk one-on-one for probably like 25 minutes, and everyone else he was kind of just like laughing to here and there. But
Dude,
here is
that's
my favorite
crazy.
part of that story. Do you remember when Snapchat didn't have those face filters? And then the first time like you pressed your face and you saw that shit pop up that you can like change it?
Okay. Yeah.
So it was that day that it came out, and he hadn't seen it yet. And we got to show him, and he was like, what? So this was before we even played, right? So it was we played, and this other band's from Detroit, I think, or somewhere like that. They were playing as well. Or no, I'm sorry, Atlanta. They played after us, and they were like the full bands. They were actually like pretty decent, but we fucking murdered it. So he and all of his friends came to the side of the stage and literally put us on his story. And then afterwards, Manu, the best compliment I've ever received in my entire life was he points at like Isaiah first because he was walking through first, and then Jake, and then me. He was like, and you were going for blood on that conga drum, brother. But
That's wild.
yeah, that was definitely chill. So another story I realized I have never told you then. So fast forward a month, Good AM comes out, and Mac is doing that homecoming thing, right? And I had just opened up for the internet, which was his backing bands. He had a meet and
That's
greet
crazy.
at Daily Bread randomly, and it was supposed to be from 8 in the morning until like 2 p.m. He shows up at 1:30 driving himself in his mother's Prius.
What?
So there's this long line, and then he ended up going until like later in the day and everything. But the way the line was set up, like, you know how Daily Bread kind of has the corner shop and the doors over like right on the corner. So people were lined up down the sidewalk, and you could see into the room that he was like at the very ends. So he comes in, and he comes over to the window where we were, and he was like, hey, anyone who goes down to that corner store and gets Coors Banquet, front of the line. So then all these people start sprinting to the corner store, and then they all come back with Coors. And then 2 minutes later comes back, and he's like, hey, anyone who goes to that corner store and gets ice, front of the line.
No way. That's
It was, dude, just seeing him interact with people, he was such like a showman and entertainer. Like every little thing he did, it was just such, not
That's
as if
too
he was trying to
funny.
like display a show, but it was just like he was so magnetically like entertaining, you know?
wow.
So we get up to the front of the line, and I don't know, I've always been pretty decent at talking to not only like famous people, but people I really look up to. And I went up with Jake Ware, and he's like, oh God, what do we say? What do we say? I'm like, Jake, I got this. So I go up, and I remember afterwards, Jake was like, I don't know what the fuck Andrew just said, but he just worded that so well. Oh my God, that was crazy. So I pretty much just went up. I was like, what's up, dude? Local hip hop artist, big fan of yours. I just opened up for the internet actually, like 2 weeks ago. He was like, oh, damn, get out. That's tight. Daps me up. And like we take the picture and everything. That's that because it's just kind of like a meet and greet. But that was awesome. He's much shorter than you think and has the chubbiest hands ever. Like the little thing in your thumb. He had the biggest fucking bottom of his thumb I've ever seen. Like,
Damn.
do you know who Christian Clancy is too? He was Odd Future's like their manager slash kind of like PR agent. You know, he was for like
possibly.
Sex Pistols, Odd Future, and then Mac when he went over to Warner. So we knew who he was, and no one was talking to him. So Jake and I went over, and Jake had learned that he really liked books. So Jake bought him this book, and like he wrote to Clancy, like whatever, gives him the book, and he's like, oh wow, like wait, let me talk to you guys, give you some advice. And I always heard Odd Future making fun of him for magnets. They were like, oh, if you want to learn about magnets, go talk to Clancy. So here's what he said. He said the only advice you need if you want to market yourself as an artist is you need to make yourself a magnet. So he used the example of this meet and greet. He's like, I don't give a fuck. It was the day Good AM came out. So he's like, I don't give a fuck what the person that's DJing in Chicago is listening to right now, if they like this album or not. I care about what you guys, because you guys are here. This is like a magnet. So you guys will always be fans now. And he just tries things, and if they don't attract people, then they don't. And you just try to build these magnets, he said, which that always stuck with me, you know?
Damn, that's deep as fuck. Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Yeah, but my favorite part of that is that he showed up like 6 hours later something, driving his own mom's Prius.
I heard about that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that shit was nice. But, yeah, we should definitely work on more of those beats too. Like I'm still writing to those ones you sent, but I even have some stuff that I might ask you to film for or something like that. Or
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I just can't wait till this is over. People are gonna fucking lose their minds and have like block parties and shit. So we should try to get some live gigs going.
Dude, I hope this shit ends by summer.
Yeah, and we should definitely, like, if I hear of any bookings for my band, I'll definitely let you know so we can play together and stuff.
Yeah, dude, I would love to gig with you more once that becomes a thing again.
Yeah, definitely. What's the name of that band too, by the way? Let the people know. Plug and Play, baby.
Oh yeah, Stone Throwers, baby.
Stone Throwers, yeah. Now that'd be tight. I think we would go well together too, our styles.
Yeah, that'd
Plus,
be
you
sick.
could definitely hop up and jam with us. That'd be tight.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to drop Bike too. I'm almost done mixing it.
Sick. We're looking to do like a show at the Thunderbird in the fall.
Dude, me too. Yes.
So if
let
you
me know.
wanted to hop in on that set, maybe
100%.
or the bill. I mean,
Yeah, 100%.
that'd be cool.
Let me know. All right,
For
dog.
sure.
Thank you for
All right,
being my
dog.
fourth guest now. This is tight. We should do this more.
This is fun. I'm glad to be. Glad I could be a subject.
A subject. Thanks for letting me pick your brain and.
Oh, thanks for picking it.
Yeah. So
went deep.
what was that movie too? The Invisible. I wrote it down, but I should
The
watch that one
Invisible
first.
Guest.
Should I watch that before Popstar Never Stop Never Stopping?
Ooh, it depends on what you're in the mood for. If you're in for suspenseful like mystery type movie, definitely the first
Invisible
one.
Guest.
Invisible Guest.
All right, cool. I might go watch that right now. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's in Spanish.
I speak kind of Spanish.
See?
Enough to read subtitles a little bit less than a normal person, at least.
Yeah, I don't mind subtitles, bro. Some people be
me
bugging
neither.
about the subtitles. Like, I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, I saw this meme. It was like, if you don't fuck with subtitles, like, just tell the person they can't read fast enough.
Yeah, if you don't fuck with subtitles, you'll miss out on so many genres, like Italian movies, Italian neorealism, French New Wave, and even like some German shit back in the day.
French New Wave, man. That shit's wild.
Yeah, yep.
All right, dog. Well, let me know what you think of that movie, because it's pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, will do. Yeah.
You're gonna be.
We'll try to,
You're gonna shit yourself.
I hope not.
Like, literally, send me your soiled ass fucking. Send me your soiled ass draws after this movie.
All right, I'll give you the bill so you can fucking clean them for me.
All right, yo, bet, brother.
All right, dude.
This shit was tight.
Yeah.
I'll send this over.
All right, dude. Later.
All right.
Yeah.
Peace.
Definitely. Make sure it's mono too.
It will
Manu.
be
Make sure it's mono.
Mano y mano. I probably sound
All right,
like
bro.
a clown. All right, yo. Cheers.
Peace.